So, look, with that being said, bro, we're going to move on. We have two games to talk about still.
Mhm.
And let's talk about these matches and these games from Group G. So, let's start with the Switzerland Cameroon. You know, let's talk about this.
Sure.
Appreciate everybody watching, guys. Don't forget to smash the thumbs up button on the video. Subscribe if you're new, man. Thanks for your continued support. Switzerland won, Cameroon nil. I predicted a Switzerland win, and they did so. Braille Embolo, 48th minute. He is actually born in Cameroon. So
Yep.
it's crazy, man. And he didn't celebrate too, so respect to
Yep.
Braille Embolo. And this could have gone any way. You know what I mean? Cameroon had a few good moments in the match as well, but the Swiss defense, very resolute. Jan Sommer in goal. This is a quality outfit, man. This Switzerland team is a quality team under Murat Yakin. And I expect big things from this team. I'm expecting them to get out the group and maybe venture to, who knows, maybe quarterfinals. So
Jan Sommer is a cheat code. That's all I have to say about the goal.
Ruben Vargas, he had a good game too. He almost scored. Onana actually pulled off a really good save there. Almost identical to the Braille Embolo goal. So Switzerland they did have a formula to break down I think Cameroon put out a very good performance overall. And Choupo-Moting was getting in behind on a few occasions, and they were threatening.
They did. The only issue I have with Cameroon, though, is that they dropped off after they went behind. I don't know if you feel the same way, but after Embolo scored in 48th minute for Switzerland, I didn't like the way Cameroon responded. And why did Choupo-Moting come off? I didn't understand that substitution, because when Abubakar came on, it's like Cameroon just switched off. I mean, they just looked.
But you got to remember, right? Okay, Abubakar, I think he's the captain.
Correct, yeah.
And they're probably, Rigobot Song is probably thinking, okay, I have to give Abubakar some time. I got to give Choupo-Moting some time. Abubakar is probably already pissed off that he didn't start the game. I expected Abubakar to start. So I think he's balancing out and managing the game time for the players as well. And you got to realize that Choupo-Moting, he's not as young as he used to be anymore. So it would be healthy to have that balance, but it's maybe not best for the team, you see?
I can understand that, but it did seem like it was a miscalculation in the end, because I think they looked more threatening when Choupo-Moting was on. But
they were.
It's possible it's possible he can't play the full 90 anymore. I mean,
yeah, maybe that's the case. And another player that looked really good was Brandon Buemo, 23 years old, plays for Brentford. He looked really threatening on the day. So he's a good addition to their squad. I think a player that they didn't bring was Michael Gajri Ngajwe. I think his name is Ngajri. He was a mainstay, a part of the team there. And, if you check the bench, I don't know if Rigobot Song actually got his 11 right on the day, man, because Mumi Gamelo, is a usual starter in this team as well. And maybe, who knows, maybe Christian Bassogard running down the wings could have helped. So now you could only say that in hindsight. But the Swiss team, I have to say, was very difficult to break down, because I think Sylvain Vidme had a very good game. And Nico Elvedi. But one thing that they have to sweat is those 2 yellow cards there for the defenders. Akanji and Elvedi was resolute at the back, and Sommer very difficult to beat. So, and of course, Xhaka and Shaqiri, they were doing their thing. I think the Swiss team has more warming up to do.
I would agree with that, and I think that they're going to present more of a goal scoring threat to Brazil than I think Serbia did today, because we know that this team that they have some teeth. I think with Switzerland, though, going back to what we said about Shaqiri, it's like Shaqiri's he's the quintessential national team player, man.
Yep.
He always steps up for Switzerland, no matter whatever trouble he's having, whatever club he's going, he's with. the assist he made today to Embolo. I mean, just hit the way that he was threatening on that right hand flank. Like it won them that match, and I think that he's gonna play a massive role if they're gonna get out of this group, just like he did last time in Russia.
Shaqiri, bro, hat-trick in 2014. You know, the big game that's coming up with them and Serbia. You know what I mean? Remember his celebration the last time around?
Mhm.
This is gonna be crazy, man. I'm telling you. The
that's
game between Switzerland and Serbia is gonna be a hell of a game, man.
The last match day.
Yep. So look, I don't think there's much more to talk about this game. You know, there weren't a lot of big key highlights in the match, like a ton load of chances for Cameroon. Let me just say the highlight reel is probably not the most entertaining. You know what I mean? It's not like the England Iran highlight reel. But just to top it off, 7 shots for Switzerland, 3 on target. They had 51% of the ball. For Cameroon, they had 8 shots, 5 on target. So Jan Sommer, came up clutch on the day for his side as well, 49%. So even throughout, but it's only the goal scoring stat that was the difference, and 1-0 for Lanati over the indomitable Lions. Maybe you could say they were kittens today.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Cameroon, they've now lost like their last 8 matches at the World Cup. Their last time they won a game was in 2002.
That's unacceptable, man.
Very dominable.
Very not domitable. So with that being said, let's move on to the next match in Group G. I've been waiting to talk about this one. I've really been waiting to talk about this one. We will touch on who the teams play, of course. But look, before I forget, Brazil, their next game is against Switzerland, massive game. And of course, Cameroon would take on Serbia. Let's start Brazil, Serbia. 2-0. Bro, I predicted a 3-1 win for Brazil. I confidently predicted that. Confidently. I wasn't like, okay, Serbia. You never know, but come on, this is Brazil we're talking about here. This is Brazil, okay? I didn't think that they were going to pull a Argentina or Germany. This is Brazil. This team is like so stacked up, man. It's almost illegal to be so stacked up, I'm telling you. And Tite, he knows this side very, very well. Players in the team get called up on merit. He's not afraid to leave players out. You're not going to get called up on your name. And they put out a very good performance on the day, man. Richarlison, 62nd minute goal, tapping after, the ball was loose there. And that second goal, I have to say this, that is goal of the tournament already.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be very hard to top.
Yeah.
That is going to be hard to top, bro.
Yeah, it is. Not just for like the shot itself, but the control, the way he leveled it off his foot to get that in the air to shoot it. It was it reminded me of a goal that Zlatan scored back in Euro 2012.
Yeah.
Against, I don't know if you remember, against France. It was a fire goal, man.
But from what the commentators were saying, it didn't look intentional. They were saying that the initial pass from I think that was Vinicius with the pass, right?
Yeah, it was.
If I'm not mistaken.
It was Vinicius.
Yeah. I think he had like a bubble, and when maybe like he tried to control it and it hit his foot and popped up. But even if that's the case, you got to give him credit for being composed enough to pull that out the locker, man.
Yeah, of course.
That was ridiculous.
And he didn't get a good look at goal when he did it. He had to react quickly and make the turnaround.
Bro, that was ridiculous.
Exactly, yeah. It's amazing.
I'm still in awe. That was a great goal. But look, man, I didn't have any doubts that Brazil were going to get the job done. They were dominant, man. And when I say dominant, we take a look at the stats here. Yeah. 22 shots at goal, 8 on target compared to Serbia's 5. Serbia weren't able to get that ball to Mitrovic. And I think if Milinkovic-Savic in goal didn't make some big saves, this could have been a very embarrassing scoreline. Especially, the saves were made, but Rafinha, he had to be a bit more clinical, in my opinion, because those chances when they present themselves, you have to bury them. Alexandro with that shot that hit the post, and then it was the Casemiro with that shot that hit the crossbar as well.
Yeah, I believe it was. Casemiro was great today.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I mean, the end of midway through the second half, when Brazil was really piling on the pressure, they were just hounding Serbia.
Yeah.
Like it got to a point where they were pinning them. And if Vanya doesn't come off his line and makes like those 2-3 saves, that could have been like 4 or 5-0.
Exactly.
Man. Because after Richarlison scored the first one, even Brazil smelt blood. Like they kept going and they were really juiced up. I think Serbia, the first half, they were pretty valiant. I mean, you got to
give them credit. Give them credit for going to the first half, the break 0-0. Give them a lot of credit.
Even though they didn't really have any answers for Vinicius, I thought that they were snuffing out a lot of what Neymar was producing, like down the middle of the pitch. Like they kept like intercepting him, if you noticed that. But it's in the end, it was just too much. It's just too much. They got overwhelmed.
Remember when Neymar almost scored that Olympico as well?
Yeah.
Listen, the goalkeeper is who kept the scoreline respectable.
Yes.
And this is not a bad result for Serbia. Let me just say that because it's only 2-0. It could have been 5 or 4, and that would have messed up their goal difference, right? But the fact that Switzerland won their game, Brazil won their game, now the pressure is on Serbia. Big time. It's on Serbia would need Brazil to do them a favor and beat Switzerland, and we know that's not going to be easy because last time around
they drew.
Switzerland drew. And who says that Serbia are going to push aside Ghana?
You mean Cameroon? Yeah, no, there's no guarantee that either.
Cameroon, pardon me.
There's no guarantee because Cameroon showed signs of life today, and they had an ability to go ahead a couple of times in their match. They didn't get bossed today against Switzerland. And Serbia coming up now with the pressure, like you said, we've seen this time and again. They don't perform at the stage, man.
Exactly.
So they could be entering that match basically all but mathematically out if they lose that to Cameroon. And then,
Serbia is overrated, in my opinion. That's one of my takes. Overrated.
I do think, though, it would have been much better if they had lost 1-0 because when Brazil scored the second, even if Brazil beats Switzerland, what do they beat them by 1?
Yeah.
So let's think about it. Let's say they beat them like 1-0 or 2-1, right? And let's say Serbia, that would neutralize Switzerland's goal difference because they're +1 now. And then Serbia, even if Serbia beats Cameroon, what if they beat Cameroon only like 1-0 or 2-1? That they still at -1 goal, so they would possibly have to get 6 more points from this group because they would have to beat Switzerland then.
It's gonna set up. Look, we know Serbia. They gotta win their next game.
100%.
A point is not good enough because that game against Switzerland is going to be feisty. It's going to be bloody, and it could, who knows what the result could be. You see what I mean? And I think it's advantage Switzerland going into that game.
It is.
Advantage.
And statistically speaking, you lose your first game in the World Cup, odds are you got about an 80-85% chance from what I've seen of going out. So.
A lot of people talked up the Serbian team, and I'm not saying they're a bad unit. They're not bad at all. And they held their own today for a while. But it's difficult when you're chasing around the ball all game, man. You're running around chasing Brazil. You know what I mean? You're playing cat and mouse with Brazil. It's, they wear you down. And then in the second half, you saw they vanquished. You know what I'm saying? So Brazil, man, just before we land the plane,
22 shots.
They look good, bro. They look good.
They look really good, man.
And with Argentina flunking out in their first game, who knows what's going to happen with them? Maybe you could start calling them Aquafina again, you know? But with Argentina flunking out, Brazil are now looking like favorites along with France, bro. I'm telling you. Spain looks good. England looks good. Brazil and France. These teams look the best so far.
Agreed.
This Brazil team is going to be no. You beat Brazil. Like Belgium beat them the last time, but Belgium had a tough run. Brazil and then France. If Belgium had got past France the last time, they would have won the World Cup, in my opinion.
Man, if things are setting up the way they are now, it's still early. We could get as early as the quarterfinals. We can get Brazil versus Spain.
Yeah, man. It's set up. It's setting up nicely. And I have to say, this Brazilian team are looking really, really good, man.